All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave, cover the Bears for SM. I'm joined by my co-host, good friend Ficky. Follow him on all socials at It's Ficky Baby. One of the better, more funny Bears content creators. I've been loving your tweets today, your commentary. Obviously, Bears versus Bills has been a really fun one. Starter's been out for a while. The game's actually not quite over. About 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But Ficky, we're going to talk a lot about Caleb Williams. Obviously, he had a very impressive debut. He was 4 for 7 for 95 yards. There were 2 drops, one from DJ Moore, the other from Cole Kmet, that was hilarious. That was a tough drop. That was right after he had a really good contested catch, you could say.
That was a good catch.
Completion from Caleb Williams. That was an absolute dart. But it was he averaged 23.8 yards per attempt. He had 101.8 rating, 0 sacks. I'm going to say that again, 0 sacks, 0 fumbles. I'm going to say that again, 0 fumbles, 1 rush for 13 yards, 7 total first downs accounted for by his arm and his legs. Just a really solid preseason debut. He looked calmed, composed. So first of all, just initial thoughts on Caleb Williams and his debut against Buffalo.
I mean, it was good. It's a nice way to put it. He looked calm and collected back there. It seemed like his feet were always moving in the pocket. It seems like he was always bouncing, like ready to throw the ball downfield. And there was one thing that I noticed that he did or did not do versus other quarterbacks. He wasn't quick. He held on to the ball for a long time, but he wasn't quick to then go out of the pocket and run for like a first down. He would sit there, kind of shift left and right, maybe step up into the pocket. And the only time he ran, right, that 13-yard run on 3rd and 9 was when he literally did that. He was shifting in the pocket, stepped up to still look downfield, noticed the gaping hole within the offensive line, and took off for 13 yards on a 3rd and 9 to convert that 3rd down. So that's what I liked. That was the first thing I noticed from the beginning, was like how well he moved within the pocket. And we saw that at USC all the time. And then another thing was how I'd say like his pocket presence, like not only staying within the pocket, knowing where to move based off the pressure and where it's coming from. Right. So because of that, it felt like he wasn't like bailing early, which I really enjoyed. And I know that that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, right? You don't look at the stats and say, oh, wow, he looks great back there. But that was the first eye test that I saw where I'm like, wow, like you really are sitting in there. And I think that's going to lead to some big plays because he's going to buy just a little bit extra time where one of his 3 great receivers are going to get enough separation on like a 3rd down, and he's going to deliver a dot, and it's going to continue to drive. So I'm excited to see about that. In essence, to sum that up, he did not look like a rookie back there, right? He had a mistake. He had a mistake for sure, and probably a couple when they look back at the film. But overall, like, I was very happy with the result of how he played back there and how it seemed like this wasn't his first time stepping on an NFL field, even though it was. What about you, though?
Yeah. So, yeah, he had overall, I don't think you could if you take those 2 drops away, right, he's 6 for 7 for the most part. So his arm was electric. You really saw it just flash on the screen. The way that he had that, just coming into the game, right, Caleb Williams looked locked in. You saw it from pregame. He arrived about 4 hours early to the stadium. He was just so serious, locked in. He got to see, there was a clip of him and Josh Allen kind of dapping each other up. Allen, first of all, he looks massive, which I know he is. He's a big guy. But enormous. Caleb, says hello, good luck, and he walks out the tunnel, and we got tons of fans already there, Bears fans shouting his name, and he almost doesn't even realize it, and then he waves a little bit, but you just see how focused he is. And I understand. Most quarterbacks in the NFL, you get to this level, you have to have some type of focus. You take it very seriously. But it just looked a little bit different. And then, of course, that first drive, he has a false start, which may be his fault. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
For the most part, he was bailing, or not a false start, holding penalty it was, right? Yeah. So he was bailing out of the pocket. It kind of, Darnell Wright, I believe it was trying to, I don't know who exactly it's on. I don't know if it's on the line or Caleb who's bailing a little bit early, but that's the second play, right? Then it goes to a 3rd and 12, and you have Caleb, drops back, calm, going through his progressions, and he just finds DJ Moore with it. Dart is, it's almost like an understatement, Ficky, because it's the velocity with his ball comes out, It's unreal.
So fast.
I have not seen it. Maybe Jay Cutler, because Jay had an arm on him.
Jay did,
and even Justin too, but it just looks a little bit different than any of these guys. So
I think it's faster than both. I know Jay's been a minute since I've seen him throw a football, but he definitely has, I would say, probably the fastest. He has a fastball for sure. I'm just glad maybe that leads to some drops, right? Because you're throwing the ball so hard. Some people say that about Josh Allen when he would throw it, because the ball's coming in so quick that sometimes it kind of just slips through your hands. But yeah, it's going to be hard for defenders to jump in front of that when that ball's flying out of his hands so quickly.
Yeah, no, I just overall, I mean, that first drive right there, that 3rd and 12 would have been enough for me. I would have been like, all right, if that's all we saw from Caleb, it would have been just impressive, because you saw it right there. He can win with his arm. You're right. And then later on in the game, we got to see his athleticism. You talked about, well, first of all, Shane Waldron, I loved his game plan. I know it's vanilla. I know we're not seeing everything,
of course, but
I hope they continue to move him right out of the pocket, bootlegs, because I know they did that with Justin, but with Caleb, it's like he can kill a defense because he's surgical, right? If you have to, basically cover this wide receiving group with Cole Kmet as well, DeAndre Swift, we saw how electric he was. It's just fun to see Shane Waldron, and I know it's vanilla, but I liked what I saw from his scheme with Caleb Williams. So overall, I mean, Caleb is there's just so much good today.
There was really only one bad, and we got bailed out. It wasn't, it didn't get intercepted, which is good, but it was 3rd down, so obviously he's trying to force something to get the drive going, but he threw to Rome on that.
I don't think that was the Bills starting corner on that either. I think that was backup corner.
Probably. That was not a good, even if the ball was in a good location, right? Let's say Rome did catch it, I would still be like, that may not be the best decision right there. So that was the one play where I was like, ugh, that was not a good one.
That's a good one. It was exactly, because I was like, because first of all, you're in your own I think they're on their 2-yard line, 3-yard line.
We're like all the way.
So I'm like nervous. I didn't like the back-to-back run plays there either to start the drive. I get it, but God, that was bottled up, and then that's just like a pick 6 waiting to happen. And I think the Bills corner should have picked that ball off, but again, it would have been negated either way because of the illegal contact.
Correct.
But that's that's a rookie mistake. It's gonna happen. It didn't hurt the team at all. But it is going to be a good one on tape when they go back here tonight or tomorrow, and they're like, okay, can't do that. And Caleb's going to learn. He's going to learn what he can and cannot get away with. His arm is so electric. He probably thought he'd get there before the DB. But Rome Odunze he was covered. Like that DB was running the route all for Rome. So
Rome was almost playing defense there. I think he kind of got over top to kind of like knock that ball out. That's how close that defender was on him. So
yeah. So almost threw a pick, 3rd down. He was bailed out there. The red zone, I think, wasn't a little iffy. I don't think it's all on Caleb either. I think the back-to-back run plays, or I'm sorry, not back-to-back, but the 3rd and 1, I didn't like. This is, I think, was that the first drive or second drive?
Yeah, but I'm okay with running on 3rd and 1. That the blitz was completely unblocked. Like the data would show you running on 3rd and 1 is okay. Like that makes sense, because what would used to happen, some of our pass coordinators, we'd be in shotgun in 3rd and 1, and then we'd run it from shotgun, which I think we actually ran it under center. So I'm okay with that. It was just a bad blocking assignment. But yeah, I mean, again, like hopefully they have most of their good stuff saved for the season. You know what I mean? So like it's hard to tell, like, oh, was that a good play call? Well, it's like maybe not, because it's so vanilla on both sides of the ball for both these teams, because they don't want to give up a strategic advantage. So, I agree. You'd love to see Caleb in that situation. I think you had a tweet where it was like, that ball should be in Caleb's hands. Of course. Mm-hmm. But like realistically in a game, 3rd and 1, if you decide to run, I'd be like that makes sense. It shouldn't be hard to get 1 yard, but of course,
I think you're right. I almost didn't tweet that, but I need to get in game form too, regular season form. Like I said it with Justin, you don't want to take the ball out of his hands. He's the most electric player, and he was. But when it came to that play, I think I was more upset as well. And I think Swift had a snap count because he was out of there.
Yeah, he was out quick.
And Bears, I understand why, because you saw it right away how electric he is on that 55-yard screen. He would have scored too if he didn't trip over his own feet there, or at least I think he was. He was getting close. But overall, I would have rather seen Swift get that rep, and he probably does during the season on those big 3rd and 1s.
Especially first
drive. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do
so?
Roshan or or Khalil? Who's going to be a third round? Swift will be the third down back, right?
It's not going to be Khalil because he can't pass block.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Roshan or Swift. What I hope they do is what we saw. I think they've been pretty consistent with this in the past couple of years, is keep the hot hand. So the first drive, you won't know that. Hopefully the first drive, it's Swift, unless Swift is tired from like a big run, because he did just run 50 yards. So maybe he got pulled out. You know what I mean? So that could be the case. But yeah, you'd hope it'd be the hot hand, or you got to go with Roshan, especially in very short yardage. That's literally what Roshan's made for. I would probably trust Swift more than Khalil. But again, that the good thing is that we have a good set of options. I think the issue wasn't the running back in that case, right? Because he got tackled right away. It was missed blocking assignments. So you got to hope that the O-line, to be fair, they did have, I'd say they had a pretty decent game. We didn't talk about them a lot, which is always a great sign, right? Not many sacks, not many missed tackles for losses given up, right? So, but that was the one where you're like, ooh, that was tough. So,
yeah, and we probably wouldn't be talking about it if Herbert, because he almost kept his balance there as well.
Yeah.
So either way, that 3rd and 1, when we get to the regular season, keep the ball on Caleb's hands on big downs. You know, I do like to play 3rd and 1, but maybe even just throw an RPO, right? Because Caleb can get it with his legs too. So let Caleb judge it.
Yeah.
So for me, just maybe throw an RPO in there instead of just.
I don't even know if they've done an RPO yet, and I think that goes back to the vanilla
in the
stuff
game or preseason.
Preseason, because Caleb did RPOs in college, of course, at USC.
Yeah.
But
well,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that. I mean, Justin Fields did it last year because they knew how big of a weapon he is. So I don't see why they wouldn't do the same with Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, but overall, I really think it was just an insane performance. I'm excited to see. I know you touched on the what was it, the O-line. I thought they gave Caleb a lot of time, but you could also see the nuance or how ahead Caleb. He's very poised in the pocket. The dump off pass, the Patrick Mahomes-esque type, improvising there, where he just kind of throws it off. He also protected himself, as well, really well after he threw the ball, kind of turned. I just overall just how composed and the poise, and of course the improvising, because that's probably one of his best traits coming out of college. A lot of people compared him to Mahomes because some of these tendencies, and you saw it right then and there. Like, I thought he was perhaps going to go down. I didn't think he was going to throw it, and then as soon as I saw it, I was like, is that going to get? It was almost backyard type football. And I just, we didn't see that enough from, our previous quarterback, Justin, where it's like, does he run there? Does he just take off and run? Or does he take a sack because he's not going to be able to get out of that traffic there? Because if Caleb, I think if he puts his head down, tries to go get any type of yardage, I think he's going down. He's going to either fumble, sack. And it was just nice to see, again, not a dig at Justin, but again, Caleb's is just, he aims to kill you with his arm, and you just see it, whether it's a toss, a 2-yard toss, when the defense, that kills the defense, in regards to kind of having everything bottled up, you get pressure, and then you see a guy like Williams and Mahomes are able to make those type of plays, the dump offs, when it should be maybe a negative play. So overall, I'm very excited. I'm a little upset. It was only 2 drives, but I understood why,
I'm happy we got 2.
Take him out there.
I thought maybe after the first one, I know they said 15 plays. There was a little bit where I'm like, because the first drive, it wasn't bad, right? It was like 6-7 plays down the field, and they got there quick, and then they got a field goal. So, maybe they saw enough from that, and they were like, okay, pull it. But I'm glad they didn't.
I think it's a simple thing, because I had what I wanted to say, like, because I know we were going to talk about Caleb's off the rip, for the episode. I think it's just so fun because this guy, he can really throw the football. And I know that's simple, and it doesn't, maybe it's not like the greatest analysis, but I really think it's as simple as that he can throw the fucking football, dude. Like, he has an electric arm. It has a lot of velocity. He's always poised. That throw to Komet that we touched on early.
That's the one that everyone posted.
I thought it was a bad throw, because I was like, there's no way he can get that ball to Komet in time before the DB, or I think it was the safety, I thought the safety was going to get there. And it was just, you saw it right then and there, how electric it is.
2 things that he did there, which was wild. Well, the first was not as wild. You see this a lot because Fields used to do this too. He was really good at it. The pump fake got the DN to go up a little bit, bought him a little bit more time. He rolls out and then he throws this body. So typically when you do like a jump and throw, you jump off the opposite, like a layup. You know what I mean? That just kind of makes sense. He jumps off the same foot and then twerks his body and throws it. And there's a screenshot. The dude's like twisted like a corkscrew and just zips a ball 26 yards down the sideline. Beautiful ball right to Cole Kmet on the sideline where only he can get to it. And it's like, man, I know it is preseason. I understand that. But if this is even 50% of the guy we get consistently throughout the season for a rookie, I will be ecstatic. I think seeing this, if we get, I'd say like, if this is what we see kind of consistently, not saying like he's always going to have like a great quarter like that, but like where you walk away and go, yes, that's the dude. I think for the first time in a long time, actually probably in my lifetime, we'll finally draft a quarterback where I can be like going into the next year, there will be no offseason talks about who's going to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So I think that's what I took away from this is like, oh my gosh, is this what a lot of the other teams feel like at least once in their lifetime? You know what I mean? Is this a normal feeling to be like, oh, I think this guy's the real deal. Oh, I think we actually made the right choice at quarterback. Oh man, fantastic. But it is. I get it. It's preseason, but it's good stuff.
Absolutely. Hey, so real quick, I know we went live before the game ended. It's official. Bears win 33-6, and they are now 2-0 in the preseason.
Undefeated.
Winning culture. Winning culture is being established. I love it, man. It's always fun to see the Bears win. I think you saw a lot of people, and we're going to get to, our stock up, stock down, some players that played well. Overall, I just think it was a great day for a lot of Chicago Bears, a lot of players on this roster, honestly. And we'll get to that more. I know we're going to focus a lot on Caleb just because it was a very, very good debut. And of course, all the eyes were on him. Before we kind of finish up and move forward with the episode, if you're new here, first time watching on YouTube, we go live twice a week during the season. So if you, like I said, first time, welcome to the show. BFR Podcast presented by Fanatics and Sports Mockery. We do this, like I said, every week. We do post-game shows. We also have a voicemail line that we're going to share our voicemails later. If you want to get one in right now, you might be able to. We're going to do that later in the show. You can check the BFR Twitter for that link. It's super easy. Go on your phone, tap record, send it in, and we'll play it. But again, subscribe, truly helps, grow the channel. You guys have been amazing. I think we're almost at 7,000 subscribers. And again, shout out to Sports Mockery. Wouldn't be able to do this show without them. You can check out all my work. I actually have my 3 big takeaways from Caleb Williams' debut up on SM. So if you want to read more on Caleb Williams and kind of my thoughts in writing, a little bit more nuance there, of course, check it out. And then, am I forgetting anything else, Ficky, before we move forward?
No, that's good. I'm just going to say, if you're new here, first off, thank you. If this is your first time, we really do appreciate it. If you're new, just go ahead and leave a hashtag New Face Gang in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if you're an OG here, which I know a lot of you are, because I see the chat is bumping today, go ahead and give a hashtag OG. I'll give you a shout out as well. And then also we do have a super chat here from Ian that I want to bring up. Ian Fitzpatrick with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. And he said, "Duh Bears."
Thanks, Ian.
So we do appreciate simple as that. We do appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Also, if you want to support Dave and I and the rest of the BFR team, we do have a store with BFR merch. If you want to support us that way, it's the BFRstore.com. We got shirts, hats, hoodies, all bunch of good stuff on there. And then we do have a Patreon as well, the BFR Den on Patreon, where we have our Madden League, which will be starting up once that drops. We have giveaways, which we just had a giveaway yesterday. Gave away a free shirt, one just like this. And then a whole bunch of other extra content, a bunch of good stuff in there. So if you want to check it out, it's the BFR Den on Patreon. All the support from both of those goes right back into the show. And if you don't do that, that's totally fine. You can support us for free because we love free things by liking and subscribing. So I appreciate that as well.
Wonderful. Well, hey, so like I said, the good vibes are high here. We got Bears. I don't know how this happened, but there's a Green Bay sucks chant breaking out in Buffalo right now. You can check it out on Twitter. It's pretty. That's funny. Pretty hilarious, honestly.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
In Buffalo.
No, that's a good point. No, this I saw something on Twitter which was fantastic. There was 2 kind of like medium-sized Packer fan accounts, and both of them were
I know what
like,
you're talking about.
Yep, and both of them were like, "Uh-oh, looks like the rivalry is on." Like, I think the Bears got their guy. So it was nice to see, because we're Bears fans. We're gonna be biased a little bit about our guy, right? That's like most fan bases.
Yeah.
But Bears fans are saying it. You saw a bunch of NFL analysts like saying, "Oh yeah, Caleb looks like the real deal," and then you see literally the rival, who normally never talks highly about our quarterbacks, which makes sense. Them even being like, "Well, maybe this is the dude." So maybe this is finally. This is the last time I'll say it for the show, but maybe there is a new chapter actually about to happen here in Chicago. One preseason game, only one quarter. I get it, but if it continues to look like this, I think we polls may have made the right move again.
And I hope everything you said right there is just 100% comes to fruition. Anyways, overall, really cool to see just the Bears. I mean, it just feels like a different era, and well, it is a new era. I'm not going to say different quite yet. I did see those tweets as well, but when it came to the Green Bay accounts, those analysts and everything, it is weird to see everyone talking about us. I'll say that. It just feels weird because Caleb is that type of, he's a lightning rod as far as just, views, clicks, whatever it might be.
Oh, yeah.
And people obviously want to talk about him because he is the number 1 overall pick and he's in one of the biggest markets in the NFL, Chicago. So I think the rivalry with Green Bay is going to be fun. However, we got to see it first. But I think
of course,
Jordan Love and Caleb Williams, because my take on Jordan, I'm higher on him than probably most Bears fans. And I feel like he's a really, really good quarterback. And we're going to see, hopefully, those two battle for the next 5 to 10 years, potentially. And so
he looked good that back end of the year. I totally agree. Some of those throws he would make in the back end of the season, like you talk about, like Rodgers-esque, that was crazy. He would jump up doing the same stuff that we see Caleb doing.
It's cool to have a guy that could be better, though.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the best part. That's rare. That's rare. And anyway, so let's move forward to our next topic here. We talked about Caleb Williams. Let's go ahead and we're going to do this every single preseason. We did it for the he didn't play, but so this is the first time we're cracking it out, bringing it out, which is the Caleb Williams rating per game. We do this during the regular season. We're going to do it in the preseason. So obviously we have not went back and watched the film or anything like this. It's just initial reactions. So our first take on how he played, and it's a 1 through 10 rating. Ficky, I'm going to let you do the honors. Go first here.
Honestly, would have been a 10 if he didn't throw that one horrible ball. Yep. So I have to count that, even though, it didn't technically
too horrible
count against us. Yeah, it was, bro. When he threw that, I was like, brutal. That's an easy pick. Yeah.
And that reminded me of the other guy on the Bills, Mitch.
Real. Mitch almost had 4 picks today, possible picks. It was pretty bad for the ex-Bear. But because of that, I got to dock him a little bit. So I'll say 8.5, which is, to be honest, I thought he was going to come out and do just a little bit worse, not have a bad game, but not where I walked away and was like, that's awesome. And that may be the pessimism, PTSD in me, but I was thinking he was going to have more of like a 7 type game. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh no, he good, but he kind of did this wrong and that wrong, and not really just be one bad play. And really, from what I can remember, he had like one bad play. So I'd go 8.5, and I'm happy with that.
8.5.
What about you?
Okay. Yeah. So I think, with that throw, that third down was pretty rough. I was thinking about taking only 1 point away from that because it was overall a really good day for him.
Yeah.
I agreed with you. I thought there was going to be a lot of pressure. So I thought maybe there was going to be some jitters, some nervous type throws, maybe even a fumble snap or something like. I just thought there was going to be a lot more nerves. So his calmness, his leadership he showed, of course, then the plays he made with both his arms and his legs. I'm going to go 8. I'm going to go 8.8, almost a 9, because I really, really liked a lot. I mean, that improvised throw to Swift, again, that one stood out to me a lot. That 3rd and 12 almost stood out more because of he had to make that with your arm. You had to make that play. But the Bills knew it was a passing down. They know it. They're, trying to get a turnover there, and it was really good coverage. Shout out to DJ Moore, who was, pretty reliable like always. He did have that one drop. That's a tough window throw as well. Again, I was surprised Caleb. I mean, that's that's a really tight window. And you saw Caleb just not even blink and just
zip it
again.
Only to where DJ could
that
get
fastball that he has is
crazy.
It's crazy. You hear about his touch, you hear about, his improvised, but that fastball is legit. So overall, I'm going to go 8.8. I really am excited to see Hard Knocks, this week. I'm sure they're going to have some, they had the Hall of Fame game. So I bet they'll have some more tape on this one, but overall 8.8.
How do you feel about the line? Because I'm actually more surprised about how the starting line did, where not just sacks, but it seemed like they gave him a decent amount of time. And one of the biggest things that we've been seeing reports out of training camp, and even when I was there, was a false start galore, right? Just so many mistakes, whether that's on Caleb or the line. It's just like people are not aligned with, getting off the ball at the right time. So you didn't really see any of that. And I mean, there's like some pressure with Caleb because he navigated within the pocket, but it wasn't like some of the offensive lines we've seen previously during the preseason where you're like, geez, he's got no time back there.
Dude, I mean, I hate to bring it up, but look at Pittsburgh. I watched it yesterday. I don't know if you did. I mean, I watched Justin. I want to see how he did. Like, we're all rooting for him. But I mean, 2 fumbles with the center. You saw those issues. Mike Tomlin was furious. I'm not sure if it was all on Justin. We don't know that, but I agree. The line looked. We didn't talk about it. There was no worries. So that's always a good thing, right? Tevin Jenkins, I tweeted this earlier. I deleted it because I wasn't sure if I was 100% right on the take. But, I mean, that hold, or when I think that was the holding play, right, with Darnell Wright, where Williams flushed out to the right, went to the sideline. I thought there was extra contact on Williams. So, again, I couldn't see it. I want to watch the film here, watch it back. But you saw Tevin Jenkins just manhandle his guy, but then also he was jawing and it looked like he was standing up for Caleb in some type of way. So I thought there was a little maybe extra contact, maybe a late hit on Williams. Overall, the line just was competent, and that's all we want. If it can be between that 15 to 13 to 15 or 13 to 17 best line in the league, that's all Caleb needs, because you saw it today. His pocket presence, his awareness, and his poise in there is very good, and I think it's going to be probably above his years or beyond his years as far as other quarterbacks, other rookie quarterbacks that we've seen. Similar to like Mitch and Justin, the Bears, focusing on, Chicago's history, those guys kind of had issues when it came to just navigating. And I don't think it's early, but I don't think we're going to see that with Williams, especially if the Bears offensive line can continue to play like they did today. I'm curious to see, one, their scores. Like, I'm going to go to PFF. I want to see a little bit more in depth, see these analytics, because I don't think there was, I want to know how many pressures they gave up, because it felt relatively clean, which is awesome.
There was like 2 plays, really. But
again, I don't know how many. I have to look at the Bills, too, to see kind of who they were playing. I thought a lot of their starters were going to play.
The only one that wasn't that on the D-line, Von Miller did not play. But I know AJ did, who's I'm pretty sure there is their starter. AJ Esperanza, I believe, is their starter. So, but I mean, they had starters on their defense, right? There were starters on the defense. It wasn't like last week where you didn't have starters. So we had our full starting offensive line, which was great. Wait, actually, I feel like I should know this. Why am I not thinking about this? Did Nate Davis start?
No, he did not.
Okay, I didn't think so. That wouldn't make sense. It would have had to been
here. I
went Coleman, then Bates.
I wrote it down. So we had, so the Bears starting O-line. Where did it go? It was left tackle Braxton Jones. Left guard was Tevin Jenkins. Center was Coleman Shelton. Right guard, Matt Pryor. And then right tackle, Darnell Wright.
So the all starters, but right guard, which would be Nate Davis.
Mm-hmm. Well,
because we still don't know
Ryan
who's going to be
Bates injured. Yeah, he must be banged up, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we also don't know. Yeah, he had to be, because otherwise he'd have been at right guard. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So overall, though, I like the depth. You didn't hear. I mean, there was no sacks, not a lot of pressure. Overall, I like that unit. It's not going to be the starting unit. I think it's going to be, of course, Ryan Bates at right guard, or even Nate Davis. I know a lot of people have counted him out, and Matt Eberflus obviously put him on the hot seat as far as, practicing, but he did get banged up. There was a setback. They talked about it. So at the end of the day, it sucks.
Can't do anything about it.
And you can lose your starting spot. At the same time, this might light a fire under him. And if he's a good depth piece or works his way back to the starting unit, that just makes the Bears line better overall, because I think Bates, Shelton are going to be good. Matt Pryor looked good today as well. Again, I'm going to go back, watch the tape, but overall first impressions from Caleb Williams and that offensive line, it looked cohesive, it looked competent, and that's all you can ask for.
I'll take it. We did not talk about him at all other than right now, but like during the game, there was no mentions about it. And that's how I want every game to be. The only time I want to talk about it is if there's a big mauling play, you know what I mean? Which we'll probably see from like Tevin. We saw a couple from Darnell Wright last year. That's the only time I want to talk about the offensive line, because otherwise they should just be doing their job where they're kind of non-existent.
Yeah. Well, hey, love it. Like Caleb Williams, we're going to talk about some of the other guys on this roster. A really good day for just the Bears. Every time you win, it's always a good day. But stock up in this segment. How we're going to do is just players or rooms, running back room, wide receiver room. We're just going to highlight, stock that is trending. So a player, for example, Bayless Jones Jr., who I'm sure we're going to talk about, Ficky. We would say he's probably trending up, right, as far as his stock. So super simple. We're going to name a couple players, I guess as many as we kind of want, that we do seem fit here. The preseason is all about players, trying to make this roster. So overall, stock up. And again, hit that like button if you can, if you're here, because I think there's over 40, 50 people in the chat. So go ahead and hit the like button if you can. Helps grow the show. I'm going to start with this one, if you don't mind.
I
want to say who you can guess.
Is it Austin?
Austin Booker? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell of a game. I just thought that was too easy. I want to go running back room, dude. Okay, I want to go running back room. I think the stock up here is how can I word this? I like the arrival of Bayless Jones Jr. in the running back room. He had a touchdown today. He did have a muff on the kickoff as well, but he did recover it. So
it's got to be.
I don't
Bayless.
know. Yes.
No,
but
I feel you.
Overall, it was a toss left in the red zone to Bayless Jones Jr., which he got to the edge so quick. His speed is a weapon. They're using it. It was a 4-yard touchdown. I think he had another. What did he finish with? So he had 6 carries for 34 yards, 5.7 yards a pop.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's
pretty good.
I think even if you used him in the red zone, because the Bears have so many weapons, and sure, he might be just a gadget player, gadget type running back. But overall, I just loved what I see from him. I think that's going to be a really fun thing to monitor. I like that they even explored it in the first place, because I think past regimes might not have even done that. So that's good. But Khalil Herbert, he had 9 rushes for 31 yards, 3.4 yards a carry. Travis Homer looked good too. 4 attempts for 18 yards, 4.5 average. And then DeAndre Swift, of course, he only had 1 rush for 3 yards. But overall, I feel like I keep on saying overall. I got to change up that word. I just liked what I saw from the Bears running back room. There's depth there. The arrival of Bayless Jones Jr. just makes it even better. Not that he's going to be – I'm curious to see what he's going to be labeled as on the roster, because he's going to make the 53. But
for sure.
I like his versatility. He can be a receiver. He's not the best there, but he can be. He can make some plays, some jet sweeps. It looks like he's going to be a fun weapon as a running back, and I still like him at the kickoff. I do.
Oh, for sure.
Don't put him back there punting.
Hell no.
Hell no. Look at us. Look at us. In sync.
No.
In sync. We got to clip that one.
No, please don't.
But I liked it, man. I like that running room, so I'm going to put that one as my first stock up.
Okay, no, I think that's great. I think going into the season, like even before we traded for Keenan Allen and before we got Caleb, I think even before Swift, we had talked about how the running back room was probably our strongest room, that and the linebacker. So it's good to see that they're, looking well. Swift is looking great as well, especially since we gave him a big contract. So it's nice to see that the guys Poles went after early on are kind of paying off. So I agree. I'm going to go with a different room. And I'm going to go with the tight end room. All right. So you had Cole Kmet make that beautiful catch. I know he had a drop. It probably would have been like a 2-yard gain anyway. So I'm not like tripping over that like too crazy. But you have Cole Kmet with 1 catch for 26 yards on that zip, which was beautiful. You have Steven Carlson, who had that toe tip catch. I know they said it didn't count, which is fine.
It was nice though.
It's more of like he did about everything humanly possible to make that catch, and that was fantastic. But also he had 4 targets, caught 3 of them for 18 yards, and he looked just like pretty decent. You know what I mean? And then also I think Sweeney, who had a lot of targets last game, had 2 this game for 29 yards. So overall, you're seeing these tight ends get an average of like 14 yards per catch, which is fantastic, right? A great safety net for your tight end. I mean, for your quarterback, right? Whoever the quarterback is, when you have a valuable weapon at tight end, it's just one more option for you to drop the ball off, specifically on third down. So it was good to see that the tight end room looks good. And that's not even counting Gerald Everett, because Gerald Everett didn't even play. So having a room of, because I don't think all four will make it, but probably you might have four, because it's going to be obviously Cole, Gerald, and Mercedes. Your fourth one is either Sweeney or
Stephen Carlson.
Carlson, right? So even if they don't go four, I think they'll probably go four. But if they don't go four and you go three, you're good, right? But even if you get four and it's one of those two guys, I would say it's a pretty decent tight end room, right? Just from the top two, Cole and Gerald, you already have a really strong one. But that being your fourth tight end on your list, I think that's pretty solid. So overall, I think the stock of the tight ends in general are going up, and that's great to see.
No, I think I agree with all that. The tight end room, there's just a lot of rooms that are deep. Maybe not have superstars. Some do, like the wide receiver room, but the tight end room, I don't think there's a superstar. Maybe I think Cole Kmet's a really, really good tight end, potentially great, depending on the day. But today you saw a great play from Kmet. 26-yard, 25-yard
that was so beautiful, bro.
And he drops an easy one from Caleb. It could have been maybe a little bit better throw, but I mean, it hit him in the hand. So, but I agree. I think the tight end room is looking really good. I don't know. You think four? It's possible.
Maybe some teams have done it. I know they have three locked
and
down.
Shane Waldron likes.
He does like two tight
ends. So
he does.
I was going to bring up something here. It was a really cool fact. This one was from Kevin Fishbane. Which I guess this could be another stock up. This Bears team, right? 2024 season. The last time the Bears won a preseason game by 20 plus points was in 2006. It was a 24-3 win over the Chargers. The 2006 Bears, of course, won the NFC. Interesting, so this season yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you go back to back. Give me one more. Do you have another guy you want to talk about? Maybe highlight here.
Well, here, I actually have a question for you. It was a question here from Bears Blast. And I was thinking this throughout the game. I was like, is he not playing? But I didn't see Colin Johnson play today. Did you? Because that was the guy I was looking for last game, who obviously was stock up. I did not see him get any snaps. Or if that's the case, he didn't get targeted at all. Do you remember?
It's interesting. Well, it is interesting. He did not make any reception. I'll have to look at the snap count. He may have done something on special teams, but I'll look at the snap count here once it's released. But you're right. However, another thing that's interesting is going through, went through Caleb's stat line, right? So we're going to talk about Tyson Bagent in his day, but Brett Rippon he was 1 for 2.
Yeah, he didn't play much either.
He didn't play much. So did they rest some of these guys?
No, I think you're right. I think maybe they took some guys that they felt like they got enough tape on from the last game and said, hey, let's go ahead and get more from.
Or maybe not enough tape, but enough, for just to give more. Because I think we're going to see more of those guys. At least Colin Johnson, you have.
Oh yeah, no, they're not done. I just meant
week 2. I think with the turnaround, not that it was a long turnaround, right? I think it was 12 days.
Thursday, yeah. So Thursday to Saturday. Yeah. I can't do quick math.
I'm not even trying to do math. I just guessed, threw a number out there. So, anyways, I think just the correlation even with Brett Rippon, you saw more Austin Reed today than Rippon even. So
it makes sense though. They're probably trying to even out snap counts so everyone can get they get enough so they can have.
And the thing is, you played. I mean, you saw. I mean, I like that Caleb. He also targeted 4 different receivers off the rip, which is great to see. But you saw some of these starters play. Keenan Allen didn't he? He was out there, which I was shocked. It was like a fake sweep to him or screen to him. But some of these guys, you saw DJ Moore, 2 receptions, 27 yards. You saw Cole Kmet out there. You saw Dante Pettis, DeAndre Swift, of course, catching it. You saw Rome Odunze, who, did not record a reception, but DeAndre Carter, Webster, Brendan Bates, you just saw all these playmakers, right, that are ahead, of course, Colin Johnson. So I think that pushed him down. There just wasn't enough time. And I think you're right, where they want to showcase maybe a couple other guys, give them some reps. But I think we'll see more of Colin Johnson later on.
You have to, for sure.
In games 2 and 3 of the preseason.
Of course.
Or 3 and 4 for the Bears, I guess.
Okay, then to answer your question, then stock up. I mean, it's got to be I mean, Austin Booker's the easy one, but I'm gonna go the other side on defense.
Got to.
I mean, I'm gonna stay on defense. I'm gonna go Micah Baskerville. A pick six, read it perfectly, picked the ball off, ran into the end zone. Like he read that play beautifully. And if I remember correctly, I think he had a decent amount of plays in the Hall of Fame game as well, where like you heard his number being called. So I would have to go back to see exactly what his stat line was. But anytime you get a pick six and not just like a ball's tipped up, you catch it, run it back, where you literally bait the quarterback and jump right in front of that pass and run it in. I mean, come on, that's exact. The NFL's about turnovers. You show that you have that ability to do that. That's how you make an NFL squad, right? That's how you make an NFL team, whether it's the Bears or not. This stock had to go up because of that.
And last year you saw him pop a little bit.
True.
So, I mean, this is encouraging. I love this pick with Michael Baskerville. It was a 53-yard return. I loved his return ability too, because I think he broke a tackle. It wasn't like a big break of a tackle.
Still,
like,
it counts though.
Crazy. But I mean, that right there, it shows his his ability to stay up, stay on his feet. I just like it. To score there is important, because sometimes you just need to score, because if you get down to the inside the 10 or something like that, you're not guaranteed to get 6. You hope with this Bears offense that you can more often than not punch it in, but to be able to finish that play off with a touchdown, you saw the speed. Now let's not talk about the extra point that was wide left from Cario Santos. We're not going to talk about it, Ficky.
That didn't happen.
That was what I don't like that. I'm joking here, but we have a special team segment, so I'll save it. We'll save it there. But the 53-yard touchdown return, the pick six, Micah, I love that pick. That put us up 19-6 late in the fourth. No, early in the fourth. So I loved it. The defense, I mean, you could probably put a stock up there, because that defensive line, Austin Booker, I'll go up here because I think that's the obvious one, Ficky. Let me read you this stat line, because I know you saw him pop, but he had 5 total tackles, 4 solo. He had 2.5 sacks, which you can argue 3, maybe. I don't know. I know they're giving him half sack with his first sack of the day.
He wasn't the first guy to touch him, so I think that's
no. But that guy, he just hit him with his arm. Like, I know he's probably going down there no matter what. But anyways, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and then 3 QB hits. I think he had 4 pressures though. So overall,
great game.
Hell of a debut. He had a half a sack against the Texans, right? Or was it a full sack?
That was a half.
Yeah, I think it was a half. So
yeah, that was a half.
So if you throw that half, that's 3 sacks in 2 weeks. That's I know he needs to put on weight. I know there's a couple things he needs to work on, but he is flashing out there. And for the fifth round pick to be able to make, I know it's just encouraging to see. So yeah, Austin Booker is I think you got to buy that stock now. I think he's going to be the other guy potentially to step up. If the Bears don't make a move, this is the guy you want to see in week 8 being able to make a play, make a difference, and help out, the edge room, help out Montez Sweat, because there's going to be a lot of offenses that are going to key on him. You stop him, perhaps you have a lot better chance at, beating the Bears secondary and having more time for your quarterback. So overall, if they can continue to get this progression from Austin Booker, who I think is his ceiling it's pretty high in my opinion, if everything goes right with him. So yeah, I think his frame looks a little thin out there, but overall, hell of a day. He's got 2 weeks for Austin Booker.
He's got decent power though for how light he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's what I think. But I think I think defenses or offenses, they might be able to figure it out.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. If you can't stop a 5th round development defensive end, that's crazy. Yeah. Then that would maybe I'm that he's
there. Maybe that's one of his superpowers right here. How quick he is, and the power. It is a little shocking when he puts his hands on another lineman. He can really drive him back. So I think you're right. I just feel like me personally, I think I would see a little bit more.
For sure. He's not going to start, and the expectation is he shouldn't start. And this is a project, but it's good to see that there is something in it early. You know what I mean? It gives you hope that this project maybe isn't a 2-3 year build like they thought, maybe with a Dom Rob, but instead this might be someone, like you said, week 8 or a little bit later in the season.
Dom Rob kind of looked interesting too.
No, he did. He had a tackle. I listed he had a tackle for loss that first drive, and then he also had a nice pressure on the quarterback, I think, that first drive. So that was good to see. But that I still think we need someone, because I don't think DeMarcus Walker played if Dom Rob was starting. I'll have to look back at that, but we still need a solidified defensive end too, right? Like, I think that's obvious, because I don't think Booker is ready yet. Dom Rob is not ready yet to be that kind of all down or 3 down type of defensive end. So, but I'd say Dom Rob had like a little bit of a stock up, but I think like a true stock up was easily Austin Booker. And I remember I noted some plays where he won via bull rush. He won by some stunts, right? One of his sacks was from a stunt. He won from like relentlessness, where like he wasn't the first one to get the quarterback, but the quarterback then moves all within the all within the pocket, and then he chases him down and sacks him. He also had some chase down tackles from the opposite defensive end, where it's like a run to the right side, he's on the left side, and he gets a good pursuit angle and makes the tackle. So overall, it looked like you saw a variety of different ways that he was impacting the game. So it's good to see that from any rookie. How will that translate within a year, 2 years? There's a lot of variables that go into that, coaching, how he gets built, a lot of stuff, but it's a good sign so far, right? He passes the early eye test, which is wonderful to see.
Yeah. I love it. I like Booker. I'm excited to see his growth. I think the preseason has been good for him. I want to see it in the regular season. I know we have a few more weeks, but that's where that's where the money's made, right? That's where it counts. So, but really good signs here. So I think that we'll finish our stock up segment before we move on to stock down, which might not be too much. Hopefully it's a shorter segment. We always like that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Jaquan Brisker just tweeted something that I want to highlight here, Ficky.
Okay.
It was the NFL tweet. NFL 3 hours ago was when Caleb made the throw to Komet on the run, and the caption is Caleb Williams is money on the run, and of course it shows the highlight of him connecting with Cole Komet. Comment by Jaquan Brisker. He goes, "Big money, just wait and see." And I just love to see that, because obviously Brisker was a huge fan of Justin. He was a huge supporter of him, as he should be. That was his quarterback. But I just like that comment right there. Big money, just wait and see. I think the players know it too.
They go against them every day.
Yeah, but they make it hell, though. That's the funny thing. They make it hell.
That's true.
Caleb Williams has struggled in practice at times, as the rookies do. But, I mean, they have got his number quite a few times, because there's been some picks, which is fine.
Keenan Allen. Sorry. But Keenan Allen just was interviewed by Kay Adams, and he said that he's been on some good Charger defenses, right? At least on paper. He said that this is the hardest defense he's had to go against in training camp.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this is, take it how it is, but that's a true vet saying that after 11 years. I heard that. I go, really interesting.
I almost thought it was fake, but because I didn't see the clip from Kay, but I did see the quote.
I watched the video. He
that's
actually
impressive.
said that. And that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I don't think Keenan's a guy to be like, just to fucking sugar, or to like throw that type of praise around, especially the defense, because he's also said that they love to talk. Like, he's like, yeah, they love to talk, and we get it, but we're gonna get them back too. So like, there has been that back and forth, that competitiveness.
Oh, for sure.
And
I love it,
to see Keenan give those type of flowers to this defense in his, like you said, 12 year career, that does say something. So it's a hard camp. It's a tough camp for this offense. And hopefully we're seeing it. I mean, today it looked relatively easy for these guys. And again, it's vanilla. It's preseason.
Of course,
but that's how it should look. Because JJ McCarthy, I don't know. Again, I know we're missing some of these games. He just threw a interception to the Raiders, and it was horrible throw. Not a good start for him. So all I'm saying is this could have looked completely different, and I'm glad it didn't. It should look this easy, especially when you have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
And that's why sometimes it's so hard to gauge practice, because like practices we've been hearing recently that like, offense looks like shit. Offense is not doing what they need to. Defense looks great, and that's fantastic. I love the iron sharpens iron analogy we have going on here. But
yeah,
the problem in the past is that we hear the practices are bad, and then we'd come to game day and the games would be bad. Right. So you then had a correlation of, bad practice equals bad week of game week, right? In this case, we haven't necessarily seen that yet, right? For both preseason games, whoever's playing, right? So I'm hoping that this is a situation where it's like, oh, good. We're learning. We're making our mistakes. If I'm going to make my mistakes, I want them in practice, right? This is your practice test before you actually take the test. I don't care how many practice tests you fail or how much homework you fail. If you come to midterms and you come to the finals and you ace it, I don't care what your homework looks like. So I know, again, it's preseason and it's early, but this, I think, is the first time in a while where the practice, when I hear practice is bad, I'm not like, the weight of that is not like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, because I have a little more confidence that we have the talent and coaches that have been here now, not all of them, but some of them that have been here long enough that they know how to get the team ready for game day. And so far, again, preseason, I know they're 2 for 2 on that. So we'll have to wait for week 1. That's when the real shit counts, right? None of this preseason matters, but at least right now, present day, I'm a little hopeful, maybe not too hopeful, but a little hopeful about how the procedure is working based off reports that we keep hearing about how bad this offense has kind of been these past couple of weeks.
I think it is important to take everything with a grain of salt in the preseason, because Kenny Pickett lit it up, a year or two ago, where he had like 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was just an insane performance. Steelers fans are hyped, and as you should be. This is fun. It's better than the opposite of what could be happening.
For sure.
The Vikings are, seeing it firsthand right now with JJ McCarthy having a very rough first drive. And who knows if he's going to come out for a second. So it's limited snaps for these guys. McCarthy may get more because of where he's at in Minnesota. I think he's QB2 on the depth chart. Caleb Williams obviously is not. But you would rather be talking about all the positives here than seeing a shit show or something like that.
Facts. Right?
So overall, very,
Perfect
very good day for
transition.
Bears fans.
Perfect transition. Shit show to stock down. Let's see how this. But before we do that,
a little bit nicer.
Before we do that, we got a super chat from Tito, the OG Tito. We really appreciate it. $10. He says, just stopped an AFC contender with our starters and backups. Caleb gets a B+, threw a bad ball to Rome that was almost picked. Other than that, throwing straight piss missiles. And Booker is going to be a stud. I agree though. I think me and Dave, we look at our grades, it was like a B+, and yeah, I mean, he threw beautiful balls other than that one in the red zone. And I'm so glad that wasn't picked, because that's all that would be talked about this week. Oh my gosh. That's all that would be talked about.
Hey, thank you, Tito. I appreciate the love.
Yeah,
that's also a good transition. If you're here, a lot of people in the chat, just hit that like button. It's a simple way to help grow the show. You guys have been killing it though, of course, so we appreciate it. Stock down. I want to keep this one short and sweet. I want to get to our voicemails, of course, Ficky. But you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Because I think I have one that you probably don't know or probably aren't expecting. I'm going to say Santos. Missing the extra point. I know he was 2 for 2 on his field goals. That. The extra point, I think in practice, we've seen him miss more than we are used to seeing. And I know last year was a career year. We, gave him that contract, 3 years, 16 million or something along those lines. I don't have the details, but all in all, I think it's been a rocky training camp for him. Now of course it's going to, he has to make it when it counts in the regular season. So all this could be wish-wash. I mean, if he goes and has a great season, great. However, I just don't like to see kickers miss. In Chicago, we understand that very well. Last 5 years we've had, some incidents there. So missing a PAT, I know it's harder than it was before. I just don't like to see it. And even last year, I think he had trouble. I think he missed a few.
It wasn't field goals. It was PATs.
No, it was PATs. But at the end of the day, Ficky, at the end of the day, if you're down, if it's a late fourth quarter drive, Caleb Williams and these guys go down and they, score and there's about 30 seconds left. And, the extra point is to tie the game, potentially go into overtime, give yourself a chance. If he misses that, how deflating, what a brutal way to potentially lose a game by 1 point because of a missed field goal or a missed PAT. So for me, stock down Santos. I want to put a little pressure on him. Let's see. Let's do a little bit better here. But overall, I like to see him hit 2 for 2. That was great. I thought there was some concern there. I wanted to see him make those because at camp it's been rocky. So I love that. Just not a fan of him missing these PATs because I think he missed 3 last year. And for me, every point counts. Look at the Detroit game last year. The NFL, it's such a,
game of
what's the
inches.
word? A game of inches, right? Any mistake is going to hurt you and potentially cost a game. So I would just not like to lose a game because of a missed PAT. And I don't believe Santos is going to have a bad year. I just don't. First of all, it's good when it comes to stock down. I think this is a really good thing too, because I'm gripping here. I'm reaching for these type of,
because you have high expectations for him. That's why.
Yeah, and Santos exactly. He was one of the best kickers in the league last year. So for me, I think PAT is something he needs to work on. So
let's see how I would like to, because after the end of preseason there'll be 4 games, and so it'll be nice to. I think that's like a big enough sample size to kind of see how he did overall, and then what that would equate to, like a full length of a regular season, right? So if he kind of aces it out for the next 2, we have 2 more games left, I think I'll feel okay, because that means in essence it'll be like the same season of last year where he misses like 3 PATs and makes all your field goals. So we'll see, but I agree that is something to look into. Now, this might be a hot take, and maybe it's not really this stock down.
I'm curious.
It's a reach, I will say. I'm prefacing y'all that this is a reach, and I think it's more of a disappointment from a fan experience and less of a disappointment of how, like, what he actually did on the field. But my stock down is Rome Odunze, and it's not because he isn't playing well. It's more of like, I was hoping that I could see something from Rome. And the only time I saw anything to Rome, it happened to be Caleb Williams' worst ball thrown all day. So it wasn't that he wasn't getting open. I don't know. I'd have to see all 22, right? Was it the plays weren't designed for him? I don't know. And I'm not even sure what percentage of snaps he had with those first team. I have no idea. I would have to go back and look. But from a pure fan, selfish experience, this is our number 9 guy, right? First round pick, top 10. He is a dog, number 1 wide receiver in NCAA last year. I was hoping I would see something, because we've been waiting so long, that'd be like, yep, that's Rome Odunze. That's our guy. I know it will happen, because at least I can say in training camp, there's been plenty of clips that have satisfied, that need I have to see it. But there hasn't been any. Obviously, this is first game and limited snaps, but I'm still, I want to see the Rome Odunze. You know what I mean? You want to walk.
You want the Rome game.
Right, exactly. The same way you go into a game and say, oh, you walk out and go, Caleb's the guy, like we did today. I wouldn't walk out from a game and be like, you know what? That was the right choice at wide receiver. So we'll see, though.
I think that's more than fair. I think with Rome, this is the frustration that might be the 2024 season because of the weapons, right? The targets might not be there for him. However, this is a preseason that's limited snaps. And I think he's going to be all right. I think at the end of the day, he's going to pop more than not. I think that's why I would like to kind of see him as a punt returner. I think he's so dynamic, I think it's better than any other guy out there, just because of the possibility and the athleticism and the playmaking ability that he has. You saw it in college in limited reps back there, but I mean, he scored a touchdown, on a punt return for Washington. He can do it. He can be electric. However, again, I think when Caleb and the entire starters are playing a full game, I think you're going to see Rome still get 3 to 5 targets at least because of his frame, especially in the red zone. So I agree.
You know what's crazy though? I am more like want to see it now in preseason, because these games don't matter. In the regular season, I do not care who's getting the ball if we're winning. If we go 4 games and we win 4-0 and Rome gets 0 targets, I'm sorry, Rome, but I don't care. We're winning.
That's a worry. That's a little bit of a worry for
that would
9
be
overall
crazy.
pick.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. But if I'm just saying though, you know what I mean? I'm more about the results at that point. But in the preseason where it really doesn't matter and it's all about the hype of the limited plays you get, this is where I'm like, throw Rome the ball 8 times. I don't care. You know what I mean? I want to see him make plays. I know that's a total fan craziness, psychotic take, but from a selfish standpoint, I want to see some of that. And again, we have 2 more games, so maybe we do. Maybe we will. Just give me actually 1 play and I'm fine. You get 1 crazy toe tap or 1 great play where you're like, oh, that's the big body possession type wide receiver we got. I'm good. So I'll have to wait another week. That's it. I'm a little sad about it.
Hey,
but that's like my only stock down. There really wasn't that much. I mean, we won 33-6. It's hard to it's hard to be like who
Yeah.
sucked out there.
I agree. We'll move on. Special teams. Kind of touch base on this real quick. I think Tory Taylor is an absolute weapon.
Oh boy.
Unbelievable. I mean, he flipped field position. He had that punt with inside the 9.
I mean, he had both of them within the red zone. I think there was a report of I can't remember which beat reporter talked about it last week during one of his punting sessions. He basically kicked like 20 punts, and none of them became touchbacks. All of them were under the 20-yard line.
He doesn't even give them a chance to. He just kicks it out of bounds. But he's so accurate, and he's like a sniper out there. He just puts the ball pretty much where he wants, and that is just unreal. And I think it's going to be so crucial and such a weapon for this Bears defense to be able to, if they're going to be, if the opposing offense is starting with inside their 10-yard line, these DBs that we got, these dogs, man, Jalen Johnson, I mean, it's going to be a feasting session for these guys more often than not. So I just love what I saw from Tory Taylor. I know it's a punter, but that is exciting stuff to see him be able to do what he does on such a consistent basis. Another player, Velus Jones Jr., he fumbled, of course. Don't like that. Kickoff rule. Ficky, I want to touch on it real quick. I'm not a fan of it right now. This new rule sucks. And it's early, but it sucks, dude. It's so boring.
I agree. No, I
Nothing's
agree.
Changed.
I agree, but I'll tell you why that's not going to be the case come week 1. They are showing nothing.
Yeah.
None of the trick play. Like this is, so I think a great example of how this is set up is the analogy that they use is basically this is like a running play from the line of scrimmage, right? Because the line stays still, the running back gets a movement before the line and then kind of meets at the line of scrimmage. There's so many different ways you can do tricks. Basically, you can play behind the line of scrimmage. Think of like jet sweeps and fake handoffs and all that stuff. They're not showing any of that. All you're seeing is a guy catch the ball and they're just like run forward, right? I agree with you though. From a fan experience, it's been boring as hell. There has been not one play that's made it to the 50-yard line, at least that I've watched. I know there's games going on now. So 100% agree. But I think because of how vanilla it is, and especially since they don't want to give, no one's ever done these types of plays before. So there's probably so many trick plays that these special team coordinators have up their sleeves that they're going to be ready to roll out come week 1.
Yeah. I think I'm just getting impatient, but I'm just ready for something. I don't know.
I'll put it this way though, even though it is boring, it's still, I will rather take this than a freaking touchback. Because at least we had a lot more touchbacks this game than what I expected, because preseason, Hall of Fame game, we barely had any, I don't think. This game, we had like 2 or 3. Touchbacks are literally they're so boring, bro. They're so boring. So at least if you run and you only get 10 yards, I know it's not exciting, but at least I'm like, oh, there was a chance. There was a light glimmer of hope that there was an opportunity that something fun would come out of this. So overall, I still would take this over what they had before. But I'm hoping the trick plays. Now, week 8 comes and it's still like this. And it's like the average, because I think from the Hall of Fame game, the average starting yard line for the teams was like 25, which is just like a kick, or 30, which is just like a touchback. So if it ends up the data showing like halfway through the season, end of the season, the starting yard line is like the same as a touchback, then I'm on board with you and be like, well, at that point, just go back to whatever the other thing was, right? So we'll see. I think the NFL will adjust, though. They'll try to look. They want it to be exciting because they want people to not go into the concessions when it's kickoff time, right? They want people to actually be excited to see plays. But I agree. It's been like,
Muted myself a little bit there, but no, I agree. I think it's just it's a reactional take because I'm just ready for something more, So no pun intended with DJ Moore on the screen here. We threw this up here. I thought this was from Hard Knocks, right? This clip of DJ Moore hitting that. But again, it's a good reminder. Bears versus Bills, Bears win. But leave a like if you can. Again, helps just grow the show. Of course, tell a friend, and we appreciate it. So we'll be back early next week to recap the Hard Knocks episode for episode 2.
Tuesday.
If you missed our first one and you haven't seen Hard Knocks or just want to, want more Bears content, you can check out that episode on our YouTube and of course wherever you listen to podcasts as well. So overall, again, man, that's the word of the day for me.
That's fine.
At the end of the day,
like is mine. I say that all the
end
time.
of the day, hell of a game, hell of a preseason debut for, of course, Caleb Williams and a lot of players. So the Bears roster is looking up. Anytime you win, like you said, big like this in a game, it's great. It's good, especially against an AFC contending team where maybe the roster depth isn't, I guess, where it was a couple years ago.
They need safeties and wide receivers.
Yeah.
I know they just got Keon Coleman, but I'm like, who is Josh Allen going to throw the ball to? So
yeah, I agree.
We'll see.
But I want to get to, I don't think we'll get to our final thoughts later, but if you don't mind, Ficky, let's get to our voicemails.
Yeah, we can do it.
And again, our voicemail line, we're starting it right now. We're in the preseason form, so everyone needs to get back into, doing it. But similar to, other podcasts and what they do, we will tweet it out throughout the game. You guys can literally do it from your phone. You click the link, you hold the button record, you let go, and it's done. It comes to us. We'll share it as long as it's, PG-13. It can be rated R.
Yeah, we know cuss words are fine, but nothing to get us canceled. How about that?
Yeah, or get yourself canceled.
Facts.
Canceling me for this. But we do screen them the best we can. So we're gonna play these. These are just happen. You either call in halftime or even after the game. I'm sure we have quite a few here that have some passionate takes. It feels good to kind of hear these again, just because the Bears are back, man. Football's back. So let's roll them, Vic.
Okay, here we go. First one is from Pat.
Very impressive performance from Caleb Williams today. I was really impressed with everyone. The only person who really disappointed me today, in all honesty, was Odunze. I didn't think he got much separation at all, really. But, it's still week one of the preseason, so it's nothing to freak out about. But my biggest concern with him...
Oh, you can't hear it? It's definitely playing.
Wait, can the chat, can everyone else hear it?
You guys let us know if you can hear it? Sorry, if not... I don't know. We'll have to wait. Interesting. That's the same thing that happened to Jack last episode. Weird. I wonder if we can get someone. If someone can confirm whether or not you can hear that.
I mean, I can just look on the screen.
That'd be great.
Here, I'll look on the live stream. But
okay,
try to play it again, Vic.
Yeah, I got it. So again, sorry about that, Pat. But we're gonna play yours again. Here we go.
Separation. He really didn't get too much. Very impressive performance from Caleb Williams today. I was really impressed with everyone. The only person who really disappointed me today, in all honesty, was Odunze. I didn't think he got much separation at all, really. But, it's still week one of the preseason, so it's nothing to freak out about. But my biggest concern with him was separation, and he really didn't get too much.
I can't hear it, but it's playing on
Very impressive performance.
Our thing,
okay,
I guess.
Okay, so good. So they can hear it then. But basically, he said,
fucking react.
So basically, I'll give you.
Don't react. Just go through them. We'll get through them all, and then we'll fix it on the back end later.
All right, that's fine. All right, next one here's from Jay. So we'll play that.
Hey guys, Jay here. Very fun first half. Obviously, I just wanted to hear you guys' kind of unfiltered thoughts on what we saw. Didn't really want to set you up too much, first preseason game, just what you guys are thinking generally. But on top of that, I was at one of the training camp days. I think one of the days Hard Knocks was there. And the best part of that day was Torrey Taylor. Seeing everything he was doing with the coffin corner, he was electric to watch. I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on him. I would imagine a lot of people would say the same about what we saw there in the first half on that punt. This team's going to be obviously really dynamic on all sides of the ball. What do you think it's going to be like to have, that kind of punting weapon also in our bag? Just want to know your guys' thoughts on that, and bear down.
My only criticism.
And this next one's from Ja.
To Caleb Williams was that he was holding the ball a little bit too long. And that's going to come a time, and he was still making good plays or trying to make good plays out of a bad situation. The O-line was looking solid. The D-line was looking real nasty, though. I'm real happy about that. The D-line looking nasty. I don't really get to see too much from the corners. But DJ Moore still showing why he's still wide receiver number one. The only thing, I didn't like how we put Kennan in motion over like Rome or even DJ. I feel like nobody gonna believe Kenny gonna do no sweep for real. Not saying he old, but I'm saying he old. But yeah, everything gonna work out though. Kelly won't get that time right. He was trying to pick up the blitzes. I like that. Like I said, such solid performer from Caleb Williams out there. And like I said, the offense, Swift was looking real explosive too. I like both the running backs was Swift and Herbert. So it's gonna be inside, man. It should be like a nice maybe like a last year Houston Texans 9-8 season, but if everything go right, we could be like 10-7 or something like that. Exciting. I can't wait.
Okay, I can hear him now.
Okay.
What do you say?
Oh, whoops. You can hear him now? Okay, perfect. All right, well, we got this last one here from Alan, so I'll play that real quick.
He is the motherfucking GOAT. Caleb Williams is him. Justin Fields, who?
Damn. Hey, can you play? I can hear him now. I had to switch. I had to plug my mic out from my mic. I had to plug my headphones into my laptop instead of my mic. So I'll do that from now on. It's not a big deal. But can you play Scott's real quick? If you can.
Scott's? Which one's that?
The first one, sorry.
Oh, the first one, Pat? Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're good.
Very impressive performance from Caleb Williams today. I was really impressed with everyone. The only person who really disappointed me today, in all honesty, was Odunze. I didn't think he got much separation at all, really. But, it's still week 1 of the preseason, so it's nothing to freak out about. But my biggest concern with him was separation, and he really didn't get too much.
I like that.
So
Ficky, he stole your line for line.
Man. Yeah,
I agree. But it's so limited.
It's so limited. It's preseason, so it's like, you only have – put it this way. Here's a good example. There have been NFL games where a wide receiver does absolutely nothing in the first half, and then the second half somehow gets 10 targets, 8 catches, and goes for 100 yards, right? It's really like based off what the defense is giving you, the flow of the game. There's a lot of variables that go into whether someone is targeted or not. So again, I said it from a fan, perspective. I'm disappointed, but like I'm not worried from a grand scale, high level view. I think he's going to get plenty of targets, and he will look like the number 9 pick that we got him at. Now, so there's a couple things on there. So the first one was that we talked about the Odunze. The second one was people really impressed with Tory Taylor, which we talked about, right? We just talked about that, a dog. And then the third one, someone had a question. No, what was the third one? Was there another disappointment? Did I miss that?
So no, he wanted to. I know what you're talking about. They did ask a question.
He wanted to know how our overall thoughts of the game were. He wanted to know how we thought about Tory Taylor. We both think he's a weapon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to feel
off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we covered them all though, and then the other one was just about Caleb.
We covered a lot, during this episode. So
but no, love the voicemails. Keep sending them in. We play, like you said, we'll play all of them. You can talk about anything that's related to the Bears. We'll make sure to play it. If you have questions for us, like some of these did, we'll answer those as well. But especially when the season gets going and we have, with the preseason, it's just a little bit hard because, most people want to know what's going on with like the starters and we get barely a quarter. So once the real season kicks around, I'm sure we'll get more voicemails and then we'll have like actual more topics that we can do deeper dives into. Because right now it's very surface level, but we got to work with what we got. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys for even sending them in.
No, agree. It's always fun. Had a couple go viral last year that we do share these clips on our socials. So check out BFR_pod on all socials, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, anywhere really. I think we're everywhere, honestly. So we appreciate you guys. Those were fun. Sorry I couldn't hear them in the beginning. We kind of got that fixed. Again, appreciate all the support. It's been an unreal off season. Super excited that preseason's here. We will be recapping the next episode of Hard Knocks to kind of give you guys an idea. We'll be back going live right after that show ends. So final thoughts here, Ficky. I don't have any. I think we thought we did a good job. This is a fun game, a lot to cover, a lot of good stuff, a lot more good than bad. And that's all you really can ask for. So
look, there's 3 things I wanted to see from this game. I wanted to win just because I love to see our team win, right? You got that. I wanted to walk away and feel like, oh my gosh, we made the right decision by drafting Caleb Williams. I walked away with that. And then I wanted to see some like good drives on offense. And I saw that as well, right? Preseason, there's not really too much to ask for, but like for the little ask I had, I got. So I'm happy. I'm a happy man. And then we got Hard Knocks Tuesday. So I'll be excited.
And nobody got hurt.
Oh, that's a great point. That's even better.
I think that's my final thoughts. Hell of a day. Nobody got hurt. Let's fucking go. So
absolutely. Let's
Hard Knocks is going to be fun. We'll be back, like I said, on Tuesday night. to recap that. We appreciate the support. Again, like, subscribe if you can. And season's close. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see you Tuesday. Peace.